I hit it.
Well, there's good news. And in a week full of hard times, we finally got him.
Some good news?
Justice has been done. We got the cop that did the whole murder thing. Everybody was very mad. We just literally like 15 minutes ago. There's a whole list of charges that are going to be presented, and he's going to go through the system. So that's one victory that we can count.
What cop are you talking about? Every cop is in trouble right now, Brandon.
I mean, the cop, like the cop that did the fucking the video one, the one that's on video.
There's like
you're right.
I think I've seen about 200 videos this week of a cop murdering somebody.
Okay. Wait, I mean the Wendy's.
Oh, okay.
The Wendy's cop, which is what we're gonna call him now. Wendy's cop. They're gonna be at the prison, sir. This is not a Wendy's. Do I get my gun when I go in there? No, sir, this is not a Wendy's. You got to take that thing off.
To be clear, this isn't the cops that ate the fast food and pooped their pants.
No, that's different.
That's different.
That was like a McDonald's cop. We also, I think that was a Burger King. No, that was a Burger King cop.
Burger King, yeah.
Got like cop. Right, and then we have the fucking Karen. We have Officer Karen. We had to wait too long for her McMuffin, and she got triggered and like made a video. So, Officer Karen. So basically, like the fast food cop cinematic universe is also expanding. I don't know whether that's competing with the blackface cinematic universe or like it's just going to be a whole different situation. But here we are. It's not safe for wonks. Kennedy's here. Brandon is here. Lau and Leia are both in transit. They are getting to the spot and they will hit the button when they're here. I don't know what that means. But Lau's got some struggles and Leia's got some struggles.
Always struggles.
Luckily, we're just here all the time, man. It's really wild. What would I do without you? What would you do without me?
It's impossible to know. You know,
I feel like
I would just be reading the news right now, quiet, like by myself, just quietly going, "Fuck this, fuck this, fuck this."
Yeah, I would just be getting extremely drunk. Going, this isn't right, man. He's fucking. So I love that between us, we can bring our styles together and secure a better future, entertain some people. So
we did have some good news here in Albuquerque while we're out talking about cops. This is like, of course, this is none of this what I'm about to describe goes far enough, or you know what I mean. It's all. It's just a step, and it's like not a step far enough to even solve the problem that we're facing.
Even sound like good news anymore with your fucking disclaimer. You're so used to like getting attacked online. I mean, this is lib shit.
I mean, it is kind of lib shit, but they did, especially in the wake of all this like shit that just went down with the militia guy shooting a protester and all that shit that we were talking about yesterday. City Council is moving forward to reduce the number of 911 calls that are answered by police and to increase the number of 911 calls that are answered by some type of new social services programs, you know, that are non-armed and not, you know, no tasers, no guns. They're showing up at your house with like paperwork to assign you prescriptions, you know, like they're showing up, and like this would also include, there were some of the stuff they were describing was really good in terms of like, obviously this needs to go as far as possible, but the programs that they are describing, like people to help the homeless get into housing, you know, like stuff like that would be like people showing up. So instead of the homeless, like a cop shows up when somebody calls 911 because there's a homeless person, you know, loitering, that someone would show up who would be like, hey, can we help you, you know, get into housing or something like that instead. Obviously, again, like right now, this is still way too lib. It's way too weak, but like this is a step in the right direction. And like people are putting pressure on city council right now. If we keep putting the pressure on that, like this is absolutely what we want, and we want a lot more of this and basically none of that other shit, you know, things could happen. And so it's exciting to see, you know, a lot of cities around the country are starting to take these steps, and it's exciting to be in a place where it's like, it took a horrible thing for it to fucking happen. But now it's finally the city council is now like, yeah, let's defund the police. Let's fund some other services.
And that cop, Garrett Rolfe, 11 charges. He's got felony murder. He's got aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He's got, for shooting towards in the direction, all this other shit. So it's good, but yet this DA, Paul Howard, if you live in Atlanta, you are fully aware this dude has let so many cops get completely off the hook. There's a combination of things going on. One, there's incredible fucking property damage going on in Atlanta. People are pissed the fuck off. If you saw that Wendy's on fire, that's about a quarter. First of all, not in the news. People have been at that Wendy's every day, all day. It's just like literally that place is just the capital of Atlanta right now. There's nothing but protests at that intersection. Second, like they shut down the highway one night. There are other radical protests that are happening in the city. I don't want to get into everything, but so that's happening. The city's like parts of the city are just being locked down by these people. The other aspect is that Keisha is trying to become Joe Biden's vice president, and that only works if there's a smooth, just, and equitable blah, blah, blah situation. The third thing is the district attorney is about to lose his job. We had a three-way election for DA. Most of the left supported Christian Y. Smith. He's only been a prosecutor for like a couple of years. Went for DA, and he was running on a Shea Bowden kind of, like Tiffany Caban kind of extremely progressive platform as DA. He did not make the runoff, but the runoff is Paul Howard and Fani Willis. And Fani Willis is also a very strong reformer and has been speaking out against the complete lack of accountability. There have been, I don't have the number in front of me, but Paul Howard has not prosecuted a cop his entire run as DA. He's been DA for like 16 years. I don't remember exactly how many terms he's had, but he's been in office for a long time. And
people can be in that office for fucking ever. Like the Florida DA has been in office for like 4 decades. Like it's completely, these people would just get in these offices and sit and just do the same bullshit forever.
That is correct. And she's running ahead of Paul Howard. And so Paul Howard is freaking out right now and trying to be like, I'm good. I can be good. You guys just keep it up. So first of all, if you live in Atlanta, fuck Paul Howard. Throw his ass out no matter what he says and what he does. If he personally beats this cop up, he's still got to go. Not want somebody that rode the wave all this time. Let's just get somebody new in there. So with all of that said, find your local fast food restaurant and take direct action, and that'll wake some people.
Just start tearing down some statues. Otherwise, that's been working pretty well for a lot of people.
Yeah,
take that racist shit out of your neighborhood.
Yeah, get it all out of here. Right, it's working, man. It's working. People, I think the fact that this was nationwide, the sheer volume of it, I think that they're getting how pissed people are. Actually, they're not fully getting how pissed people are.
No.
Because like you're looking at the things that are being offered by these folks that are in this political class, they're not really getting how pissed off people are. But they understand enough that, well, we got to give these people something so they go back home. They're at least at that stage of development. We'll see how it goes.
Even Trump has reached that stage. It might be a completely false sort of concessionary, in fact, he's giving more money to the police if he, does what he wants. So it's like, it's a farce because it's like, it's the exact opposite of what we actually want. But he has recognized that like the strong man try to like shut this down by being big and bullyish just like didn't work. And that like now he's trying to make some kind of symbolic concession to shut people up. And again, it's completely symbolic and it's complete bullshit. But he's trying to shut people up still. Like he's at least reached that stage of like, fuck, I gotta try to make these people feel like I'm hearing them and seeing them.
Right. That's he actually got some consultation, surprisingly, from Elizabeth Warren, which I did not think would ever happen. But he was like, "Yeah, you're seen, you're heard, you're valid." And actually, Kennedy also sent that letter that she sent me. She forwarded it to Trump. Now Trump is like, "I understand the systems of intersectional oppression that you have gone through, and you're seen and you're heard. And please let me know. Drop your Cash App so that I can personally recompense for the struggles and stress that you've been going through. I already sent you a check a couple months ago. I guess you guys need another one. Whatever." Yeah, it's
Like
it's
Trump was
good.
like, I need somebody to help me out with this situation. They need to be a little woke, but not too woke. And it should be a not too offensive woman of color. And eventually that whittled down to Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. Yeah,
the least offensive woman of
the
color.
least offensive woman of color that he could find. Yeah. So also, I think Trump, for all of his shit talk publicly, Trump reads numbers. If you guys remember when he was,
yeah.
when you guys remember when he was running Republican primary, all he could talk about was the fucking poll numbers, head in the polls, head in the polls, head in the polls. Now he might not be tweeting about it because his ass is getting beat in the polls by Biden, but he knows that these polls are not fucking looking good for him. So, given that, he went and did this photo op with the fucking Bible at the church, and that made things worse. His numbers have like, as soon as he tried that shit, his numbers went like down the fucking tubes. Now, obviously, all some fake news polls, and that's central to his worldview. Anything that doesn't support him is fake, and I really think he genuinely believes that. He's just had like so much. He thinks that anything that is not like catered to him is a fucking conspiracy. Like if the black guy becomes president, it's like there's who's behind this? How did this happen? But yeah, his polls have gone very far down, and he's got to do something for damage control at this stage because I don't know, he's not going to win with just the MAGA crowd, but his messaging has just been for them, and they are like not enough. They're not enough to win him the election. White privilege at its finest. Roll eyes emoji. Yeah. I mean, literally, like,
yeah.
Not even like white privilege in the way that like we make fun of libs for like being goofy or tone deaf, but like just in the sense that he genuinely just thinks this whole world is organized for him to win. And when he loses, it fucking breaks his brain, and that's going to be why it'll be kind of tough once he loses this election. He says that if he loses, he's just going to go home, and he's sick of this shit. And I do think that, like, I mean, not really, not exactly.
It kind of does.
Well, Kennedy, you tell me what.
Definitely shouldn't.
You tell me what you think. Is Trump just gonna, like, if he loses, is he just gonna leave? I think he will.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's unpredictable. The thing is he's very unpredictable. Like if he lost today, if the election was today and he lost, then yes, I think he would just leave. But you can't predict what Trump's going to feel about these things in like 6 weeks. When he first was elected, he kind of like didn't really want to do it at first. And he was like, whatever. And then like 8 weeks later, he was like, I'm president. This rules, and like had like completely gotten gung ho about being president. And like I think this is like a good point that he fears prison. Like if the right, it all depends on like the right combination of factors at the time. If somebody comes to him and says, Donald, there's a really good chance that New York State is going to like arrest you the second that you get out of office and charge you with a bunch of crimes, and that like you should probably run again and try to protect yourself. He'll change his story tomorrow because like somebody has given him like a compelling reason to,
That's a compelling reason, but like I don't think that Trump has that support from the military that he would need to like I mean, there's legal shit he could do too, but I mean, just blows to blows. Like
people have forgotten, but like Bush threatened to not leave office, and like he had a legal precedent established for doing so. That was partially established by some of the bullshit he passed while he was in office, and partially established by shit that had been passed before that. But there is in fact a legal precedent. My concern is that there is so much inertia with the way that like centrists and neolibs interact with politics that once something, if you can be like, well, there's a legal precedent, then they'll be like, I guess it's okay. Like they'll literally just like sit with their thumb up their fucking ass and be like, well, this is the law. The law says
Joe Biden is thoroughly cucked in many ways. And just in the way that all United States senators are, they're all like civility cucks because they come into Senate and they have that just drilled into them like the army, that you will be fucking civil. This is the most august and distinguished body. Like name some senators who are like really about the shit and are bomb throwers in either party.
There's
Ted Cruz.
People who wiles in the Senate.
Who's wilding out in the Senate?
Yeah.
Really, nobody. Like
even Ted Cruz is like
not even Ted Cruz.
He doesn't
Ted
compare
Cruz
to like the bomb throwers they
debater.
have in Congress. You
right.
know?
He's not like a House rep.
Right.
He's not like Alan Grayson or anything like that. Just
right.
So who's the cow suing guy? Who is that? I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Fill us in about this. We'll
tell us about the guy that sued the cow.
Nunez.
Yeah, but he's a rep. He's not a senator. That's my point. Yeah, that's the rep.
That's the whole thing that we're getting at is that
senators are Kamala Harris and Dianne Feinstein. They don't act like they don't wild out like that. Yeah.
It's the congressional people that wild the fuck out, and so those are the people that are like, and so these senators, but it's not just the people in office.
But despite that, I don't think that Biden would troll. Trump said, I gotta go. I guess I'll see you guys later. Because Al Gore, I mean, anything can happen, but Al Gore was so thoroughly mocked for just doing that. And it's 2020, and there will be, say what you want, but
I don't know.
Libs hate Trump, man. I don't think that they will just let Trump stay in office. I got to believe that there's some line for them, and that Trump just being like, no. I got to believe that's the line for them. I don't know.
I think that people would be upset. I think that, like, you think that people are agitated in the streets now. Like, see what happens if Trump says he's not leaving office, is what I would say for sure. Yeah, like, you know, like people would be definitely out in the streets having a fucking panic about it. But I say, there is this political inertia, and we see it every fucking presidential cycle for like our entire lifetime. Certainly, you know, Bill Clinton gets into office and he runs on like, I'm gonna fix a bunch of the shit that fucking, you know, HW and these idiots did before me. And then he doesn't. He fixes like 2 things and the rest of it just stays. And that's what we've been seeing over and over again with this shit. And the Republicans don't even operate any different, really. They get into office on the same promises of like, we're going to overturn all that Democrat shit. And then they get into office and they overturn like 2 things. And the rest of it, they're like, well, turns out LGBT people having rights is kind of a thing that we can't just walk back entirely now. It's too late. You know?
I think that if number one, I think if Trump doesn't leave the Secret Service, who he's treated like shit for the whole 4 years, will be like, Mr. President, you and your family have got to come with us, and they will just pick him up out the chair, and they will be like, "Sir, you've got to go."
I mean, ultimately, I do agree that like I don't really super believe that Trump is the one.
No one likes him. No one.
However, I think that a Republican pulling this stunt is inevitable at this point if we don't change the system fundamentally. Like that, like a Republican president within like the next 10 or 20 years is going to pull this stunt, guaranteed. If we don't fundamentally change a lot of things around here. That like Trump could be the one is all I'm trying to say. Like it's not impossible in my mind. It's just a small chance. But like Tom Cotton 2028, you think he won't be thinking about it? Fucking get your head in the game, people.
Yeah. Like we've got time. Trump at his heart is a grifter. Right. And he wants to grift. And I think that there may be more money about like he might play the role of Al Gore and say, I should be president. Look at all of this cheating and shit that went on. and Joe Biden is not legitimate, but I will leave. Like he'll do like a Stacey Abrams. Biden is not the legitimate president. I am, but however, I am a patriot and I support America, and I will. And by the way, maybe this won't work. Maybe the right wing will turn on him if he does this. But in order for him to just make the most money possible, he'll be like, I must leave because I'm a patriot and I want to keep our system of government together. And we're going to get rid of Joe Biden and we're going to fight the deep state. I'm going to make a cable channel. Send me your money. Let's go. Let's do it now. I don't know. I think that's
I do think that Trump could grift like crazy off of the loss. So there is that. Lau, what do you think? Do you think Trump will willingly leave office, or what kind of odds or chances or circumstances do you think might cause him to not leave office? And do you
feel like
people will put up with that?
I feel like Trump's kind of tired of the presidency at this point. You think like he's probably just going to leave and grift. I feel like that if I were Trump and I were a grifter, I'd leave and then just say like, damn, well, system's fucked. I try to do my best. Let's go round up the folks and fucking MAGA all day, you know?
But isn't that fundamentally colored by our perception as people who aren't obsessed with power? The people that are obsessed with power, they don't think exactly the same way that we do, or Trump would have stood back and grifted a long time ago. Trump he didn't have to run for president. He was already rich and powerful as hell. You know what I mean? Like, Jeff Bezos doesn't need to become a trillionaire, so I guess like the question to me is like, how much is Trump entrenched into this idea of power? And like I kind of said, you missed this at the beginning of this discussion, Lab, but like I kind of said at the beginning, I know, or I believe that like if Trump was like, if the election was today and you asked Trump, do you want to leave office? Yeah, he's exhausted right now. He might just say, yeah,
right.
But Trump 8 weeks from now might have completely different motives. Wouldn't you agree?
For sure, yeah. That's definitely an open possibility.
He's so unpredictable.
Yeah, he's definitely a wild card for sure, but
I don't know if he knows prison awaits. Democrats are not like, this would be never before done. Presidents do not typically get prosecuted for their crimes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
I feel like if Joe Biden were president, like Trump would have such an easy time just grifting off of that, I feel. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, because Joe Biden's going to be a terrible president. So like Trump will just be able to just do basically the exact same shit he did all over Twitter during the Obama years that made him popular enough to be president in the first place.
Yeah.
Biden will be a bad president, but his one strength as a human being is that he does advocate for himself. He is tone deaf and he's a moron, but unlike many of the libs that are in the lib world, he is not woke. He will listen, Buster. That's not true. Shut the hell
Jack.
up. Shut up, Jack. So that is his only genuine virtue as a politician. He will not just roll over and play dead for civility purposes. He will probably be yelling at the left more than he yells at the right. But I think, and I guess we'll see as time goes on, I think there will be some amount of brushback against like Donald Trump. He's going to try to run one more time before he kicks the bucket or whatever he ends up doing. We'll just see. But will stand up for himself anyway.
You think Trump 2024 would be a possibility? Or by that point, it's like he's going to get screwed by it?
He would. I think he would love the vindication and the validation of being the second run-it-back president in American history. If he's alive and in good health.
Yeah, I kind of...
His health doesn't seem like it'll hold up. But
good health for him to run again in 2024 seems like a highly questionable prospect. I would say that by like 2024, he's probably going to be putting up one of the kids, you know? Like, it's probably going to be like a Don Jr. run. Like, Don Jr. could run in 2024 on literally the same platform of like, look, we had this shit under control and like, we need to get this back on track. Look at this shit, and like
Junior could run, but Junior has no charisma. He's a complete dolt. Obviously, the favorite
child. People that like Trump like him.
No, they want that, but Trump wants Ivanka. if there's going to be like a Trump heir, it's going to be Ivanka and not Junior. Ivanka's the chosen one. Junior is more ferocious. Like he tries to be like Donald a little more. And Ivanka is more of a lib in her style or whatever. But Junior doesn't have the it factor.
Ivanka later down the road, though.
Well, let me make my argument. My case is just that Junior has been building up his profile for this specifically, first of all. And he's doing all the book tours and all the kinds of stuff that you need to do to like make a big enough presence to make this shit work. Also, Junior right now, he acts as the mouth for the things that Trump fans think, but can't, like Trump himself can't say or back. And so by 2024, Trump fans are probably, I don't think that they're going to want a more lib version of Donald. I think they're going to want a more rabid, foaming at the mouth version of Donald. And that's why I think agree. Junior could have a chance.
That's totally good. That's totally true. You're completely right. If there's just the factor that Donald likes Ivanka more than Junior should be thought of. But it's funny we're saying this like as a joke, but like really those two should be considered, if Trump loses, kind of lead contenders, because the Republican Party is a total Trump cult.
This is not a joke to me. If a Trump kin is not running in 2024, I will be fucking shocked. And it will, in my mind, it would nearly have to require that we have run all of the white nationalists out of the country. Like, you know, like if we have not accomplished that goal by 2024, then a Trump protege family member will be running, guaranteed, without a doubt.
And it's also possible that Junior and Ivanka, I don't know what their relationship is, but it's possible that Junior and Ivanka will have like the Bernie and Warren kind of meeting about like what, like we've got to decide which of us is going to be the one, because we don't want to like run against each other and fracture the base or whatever. And maybe Ivanka just wants to make money and isn't into all that shit, although Donald might want to push her toward it. Like, we don't know the fucking dynamics of their fucking soap opera.
I've seen pictures of Ivanka grilling.
I just want to grill. Fuck all this. I just want to grill. But yeah, we don't know what they're fighting. But I do believe that the Trump family will, if Donald loses, there will be a Trump that runs. Whether it's Donald saying, one last ride, baby, one last ride, or it's Ivanka that's going to try to be like the Nikki Haley alternative, or if it's Junior that's like, I have no qualifications just like Dad, but I'm fired up and they love me and let's do it. But there are also
it could be Eric by then, right? He'll be old enough. Yeah, he's old enough now.
Eric is ass.
He could run though. He could be a Jeb.
He's like
he would be the Jeb of the Trump family. He'd be up there. Please clap.
I mean, that is just, he's the Fredo of the Trump family, and a family full of Fredos. He's like the fucking Fredo Prime. I don't. Good Lord.
Fredo Prime. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to do world news, or do you want to keep going with this?
Before, I just want to mention that there's no loyalty. Trump always talks about loyalty, but like Hillary Clinton has a lot of weaknesses. Like I said, Biden's one strength is he sticks up for himself. Hillary's strength as a politician is loyalty. She always sticks up for the people that stick up for her. That's why she fucking endorsed Elliot Engel, who's like a complete shit lib loser that's about to lose. She's like, Engel's cashing his favors. He's had my back. I'm going to have his. The Trump family has no loyalty. So when you're down, nobody picks you back up. If you do it like Trump did and you just push people overboard all the time, and Trump never takes the hits, right? It's always somebody else. So that helps you get up. But like if Trump loses, the entire Republicans are just going to throw him in the garbage, and they're going to try to get somebody else. Nikki Haley will be like, all the vultures will fucking try to pick the fucking corpse clean. But like, who's going to control the fucking mouth breathers that have made Trump happen to begin with? We don't.
When you put it like that, it could be all of them could run in 2024.
could.
Because you're right. There is a
Oh, you're just saying
disloyalty.
there's no solidarity.
Yeah, we could actually have a situation where it's like fucking Trump Senior, Junior, Ivanka, and Eric are all in the Republican primary. It's not impossible, folks. Like they don't have loyalty. They're all power grabbers.
They must all have blackmail on each other. That has to be the only.
Holy
they all have to have all the dirt on each other. Like Ivanka has all the dirt on her dad. No
they
lie,
don't care
right?
about dirt though. They don't care about
dirt. But they
would
dish it.
Literally, people have dished nonstop dirt on Trump for 4 years, and he's just like, yeah, so what? I got peed on by a prostitute. Let's move on.
But
like. But who gets stuck with Tiffany.
Oh my!
Tiffany's not gonna be VP. She's gonna be president, dog. Like this is like Brandon Stark in Game of Thrones. Tiffany's just been on a side quest this whole time. She's gonna come back and she's gonna be all on point with everything.
It's gonna be a brand situation. Tiffany's gonna come back and she's gonna have fucking magic powers, and y'all are gonna be like, oh shit,
oh shit, Tiffany for the Iron Throne. That's all I have to say.
Do you want to?
I got a meme coming up.
Do you want to talk world news?
Lau's working on a dank meme, so we've got to stall for a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'll just pull it up whenever.
Okay,
it'll still be funny.
Wait,
we're gonna do Is It Cringe at the end of the show anyway, so we'll bring it back for Is It Cringe. Let's do a little world news.
All right.
We got some volume.
All right. Did the audio not play on that? It seemed like it didn't.
I put you in charge of the videos one day. However, this all had subtitles.
Yeah, it was all subtitled. Anyway.
All of our viewers are Twitter users. We know this statistically. Like we have like 15% that's on Facebook. Most of them are on Twitter. So they're used to watching these videos with subtitles, watching on mute, and if they scroll to it. So we're fine. But let's summarize just for get out of here, Carefree Highway.
Get out of here.
Get out.
All we do is abuse Twitch viewers. That's why we don't have any.
Get
it's definitely
out.
not like we know any of these people or anything.
Twitch, you know how the right wing,
we know who you are, Ren.
Shut up. You know how the right wing has pronouns in bio? We have like Twitch icon. Like we just automatically disregard whatever you say. Icon from Twitch gone, whatever.
Hi, y'all.
Now, if you have a Periscope logo, you're probably cool.
You're probably cool.
Twitch and icon. Don't worry about it. Don't care. Shut up. Go away.
North Korea is always posturing, of course, all the time. They never stop.
That is true.
But this is a little more than just a casual, like, we're going to demonstrate the fact that we have a military at you kind of stuff. Basically, like, they've blown up the office. No one was in it at the time, but they've blown up the office where they conduct diplomacy between the two nations. So it's like,
that seems problematic. That seems heckin' offensive.
Not good.
the South Korea needs to do some self-care.
North Korea was like, I'm currently at capacity. Do not have space in my life for diplomatic relations with South Korea right now. Could you please reach out to another nation that
has the capacity to help
that has the capacity to help you right now?
Trump needs to
I'm
be
in
wartime
danger.
Pushes behind scenes. Trump both needs to be a wartime president, but also doesn't have the stomach or the attention span for the war buildup.
Yeah.
Or else we would have done it in Venezuela
or Iran.
So honestly, like, yeah, we've had Republican presidents before, and by Republican president standards, Trump has not been that warlike. So I do not think that if he was going to do it, he would have done it already. I think. Could be wrong.
Yeah, I tend to agree somewhat. I mean, if he gets a second term, I think anything goes in terms of like maybe he'll finally get, his hackles up and make it happen. Yeah. I'm shocked that Iran didn't happen, says NYD Bag Redux. And this is something we actually talked about a lot, like around the time all that was going down. Like, Trump he literally does not have the attention span for this shit at all. He likes the display of military power. He likes the spectacle of the military. He likes being a strong man. He likes all those things, sure. But Trump literally will not sit through fucking briefings. When you try to declare war on somebody else, it is nothing but briefings for weeks. You are 16 hours a day in the fucking war room. Barack Obama went through this. George Bush went through this. They talked about this shit. You can go find them talking about the how fucking just crazy intense this shit is in terms of like your fucking time and like personal commitment that you have to be willing to put into it. Trump will not sit through a 1 hour briefing. He definitely cannot handle. Barack Obama and George Bush both sat through days and days of 16 hours in the war room when they were fucking declaring their shit.
Let me be clear. I love to go to meetings. I love to talk.
He does.
I love to hear myself heard. This is very good.
Yeah, Barack Obama, he was getting off on those 16-hour meetings. He's the opposite.
God. It's like,
yeah,
we're all sitting here thinking, we're talking to each other. This is pretty good.
But yeah, like when Iraq was initially going down, literally Bush was in the war room for weeks, people, every single day, long days, period, no exceptions. Trump is not capable of that, and that's basically why we haven't gone to war under Trump. Like, that's it, in my opinion.
He does want to like have a parade, and if it's like, sending the military to like beat up civilians, he is getting off on that idea. He thinks that would be cool.
Bombing Soleimani, just a one-time, just a display of let's kill this bad guy. He loves that. That's perfect for him.
Maybe that's why he has such an affinity for like Kim Jong-un, because he's kind of like, just sending some stuff to like SK once in a while, just putting up a show, but not really doing much.
Which brings us back to this topic. So North Korea, South Korea, how real is this? I think it's not that real.
I think it's hard to troubling compared to the past. And I think that like North Korea and South Korea are both in these unsustainable political situations. North Korea is this, bizarre hermit state run by an autocratic, like religious familial cult thing. And like everything that I just described is bad, basically, in terms of like a long-term sustainable political system that's going to suit people's needs, make people happy, and like keep people from eventually rising up against you in some fashion or causing some kind of other issue. When you have a problem in your nation that is going to lead to violence, that violence can either extend itself inwards or outwards usually. And so it's like, either North Korea is going to end up going to war with somebody, or they are going to end up going to war with themselves. But there is not a world where North Korea just exists for like 100 years in its current form, in my opinion. South Korea similarly is like this hyper capitalist fucking nightmare zone that was like created by like external capitalist entities just sort of like coming through and making a brand new country in their image. And like it is like South Korea has had more presidents go to jail in the time that it has had democracy than like any other country imaginable. It literally has a shadow government that is known about and has been exposed several times, like a literal like dystopian cyberpunk fucking 90s movie style shadow government. And so these two nations are both completely unsustainable, and that instability that they're experiencing, again, it could go inward or it could go outward towards each other specifically, is a very likely scenario. So do I think that this is absolutely nothing? I don't know. This one makes me a little nervous, but I think there's always going to be a lot of posturing between these two nations. It's going to be hard to call the exact moment that like things change from posturing to something more serious. Probably not yet.
That it pops off. Yeah, correct.
What do y'all think?
Lau, do you have an opinion on this?
You got anything to add?
No, I just have this.
What the hell?
It's Eric Trump is Fredo.
No, I know. You did it. Good Lord.
That's all I want to say.
I'm
your meme guy. Like you all got the opinions and stuff.
Elite meme magician that you made that in like 15 minutes live during the show.
For sure.
God damn. Okay, you're gonna yell at me like I did a whole fucking stream for like 5 months explaining how do you do that shit? Like, damn.
You just gotta know about layers. So you got your
I see you did a clipping mask or something like that.
Yeah, I had to fix Fredo's eyebrow because it was in the way, but yeah, you just get his face, do some color balances and shit, and you're good.
I love it.
I'll send this to all the viewers and stuff.
I'll post that on the Twitter. That's dope as hell. Don't yeah, that's rad.
Okay. Back to
so there's
South
also
Korea.
there's another world incident that's
World War
similar
III
in
is
nature.
happening. World War III is happening everywhere. It's weird that we had World War III. We've got the virus. We lost Kobe and Gigi. We've got all this stuff. They screwed Bernie. We've got the race riots. We had a parallel universe. We had something called murder hornets. And now we're having World War III fucking again. This is one of the weirdest ass years in the history of the United States of America. Like, what the fuck? So can we talk a little bit about our other World War III incident that's starting off?
Yeah, I think we can play another video. Hopefully this one has sound.
Hopefully there's sound in this one. Good Lord.
Tensions are running high between China and India after a deadly clash at the border between the two countries on Monday. India says at least 20 of its soldiers were killed. Arshad Zagar brings us the latest from the region.
More than 24 hours after this incident, we still exactly don't know what happened during the deadly clash on India-China border. What we do know is that at least 20 Indian soldiers were killed on Monday night. That's according to the Indian military, who also claimed that Chinese troops suffered casualties. Allegedly, no shots were fired, and the deaths were a result of hand-to-hand combat. Indian Prime Minister has spoken very strongly, saying the deaths of Indian soldiers will not go in vain. He said India wants peace with China, but is capable of giving a befitting reply if provoked. The Prime Minister did hold meetings with his Defense Minister and the Army Chief late last night. Earlier in the day, China said it does not wish to see more clashes on the border. The two Asian giants have had a largely peaceful relationship so far, except for a brief war in 1962. And not a single bullet has been fired by soldiers of the two countries at the disputed and non-demarcated 2,100-mile border in the last 45 years. But while the two countries have shown eagerness to de-escalate, this incident has surely caused an unprecedented bitterness between them. If India would be preparing some kind of a response, it's also likely that it will be a non-military response. Arshad Zargar, CBS News, New Delhi.
This is a very interesting situation. By the way, StreamYard, if you guys really want to like add some features, give us a fade in and a fade out on these videos. That's something you guys can do. That's something y'all can do on the back end, and will be very cool. So it's not just so abrupt. But anyway, small thing inside baseball, just between the content creators and the back end creators. It's fine. So before we start giving our analysis, it's always good to hear from the people. Because, like, we don't say this a lot. Hello, hi, y'all. Once again, this is the people's show. Like, we do it all for the people. So when the people like have a view, I want to air those views and give them some light. So, Twitch and Icon, police officers going to jail. We're talking about World War III. We're talking about World War III right now, Murasaki Komodo. Like, we literally just showed a video that was a long video about escalations in another country. There are 10 people who are Indian nationals that have been
20
killed. 20,
which I want to talk about actually in a second.
And you're talking about something that we talked about 45 minutes ago. Murasaki Komodo, get it together. This is not the kind of content that I'm trying to produce on this show. What else? Oh God, we got more from you. Trump asking Ina for re-election help, etc., as a distraction for how bad COVID has hit a second and third wave. Well, I mean, look, the part of the problem is we talked about loyalty earlier, and Trump has shown no loyalty. So when Trump goes to China for help, it's like, didn't you call this shit the Wuhan virus like a week ago? Like, weren't you like having Chinese people getting their ass beat in the streets like 2 months ago? No, I mean, he'll probably do it because that's how he is. But China this is me just giving props to all kinds of bad people this episode. It's like the theme, but China has a very long institutional memory, right? So like their whole culture is based around like, we remember this shit from 150 years ago and we're trying not to repeat it. So Donald Trump being a dick like 3 months ago and coming back, she's gonna be like, what are you talking about? It's entirely possible that Xi Jinping would rather work with Joe Biden, who is a more predictable person.
And is a Xi
I don't
fan.
know. Is a Xi fan. Yeah. Now, of course, Biden is running these ads about how Trump is bowing down to China. So I don't know. Listen, we're talking about the president of the United States of America. It's always going to be like some gross racial shit, especially with these two. I don't know who China would help. Is China going to help as a distraction from COVID? And is Trump going to team up with China to attack India? When China attacked India? I don't know. It seems a little bit odd. He claims his memory is amazing. Yeah, he's an idiot. He's dumb. He's not on top of the ball. I don't know what to tell you.
I really want to talk about
let's talk
the number of people killed in this skirmish. First of all, China won't say how many of their people were killed, which is typical China behavior.
China doesn't have information.
Yeah, they don't divulge information. That's their modus operandi. So they're not saying exactly how many people were killed. India says that there were casualties on the Chinese side. And they also say that 20 people died on their side from hand-to-hand combat with no shots fired. Now, this is what's interesting about this, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Neither side wants to admit if there was a shot fired, because you heard it. They mentioned this in the video. Yeah. It's been such and such many years since a shot was fired on this border. They both want to maintain that image. By the way, that's not even true. Like 10 years ago, there were some shots fired. But they both want to maintain this. Both sides want to maintain this image that like, this is fine. Everything's fine.
I'm sure that the Chinese don't want to go to war with India and vice versa.
No.
So there's an interest on both sides to just like sweep this under the rug as much as like is fair and necessary. But this is part of the problem with a lot of, like, one of our major facets of modern politics, which is that our people in political office do not sincerely mean all this fucking like hype up
fucking hate the Mexicans or whatever kind of talk, right? Like in China, it's hate the Indians. Well, at least in southern China, and in India, in northern India, it's hate the Chinese. It's the same shit as when people say, "Oh, we gotta hate the Mexicans here." So the politicians that are
mean that shit. I think
they mean it in a sense, but they don't mean it in like the I actually want to go to war with this other country sense. They just mean it in like I want to rile people up. I want to kind of like keep tensions high for these reasons that are often financial or other power based in some way. But the problem is your citizens don't hear it that way or think of it that way. They're not playing 5D chess when they're fucking seeing a Chinese guy in the street and calling him names. They're just thinking, I hear all the time that the Chinese fucking suck, and I want the Chinese people to die. That's the kind of shit that's running through their minds. It's not this 5D chess shit that the political class are doing when they're playing these games. And so the problem with these situations is these politicians, they don't want to go to war, but for decades, they've been ramping up their populations to feel like these people are the fucking worst. They're your enemy. They suck. They're terrible. And so those populations are now upset. And that's what's been leading to these repeated clashes on the border that they repeatedly kind of brush over and cover up. And it wasn't such a big deal. And you're like, it wasn't such a big deal. 40 fucking people died. Like that's, if that happened here, we'd be freaking out. Like if that happened on the border of Mexico tomorrow, we'd be freaking the fuck out, right? Like everybody here would be like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? That's how people there feel. It doesn't matter what their governments are saying. The people who are living near these borders feel like, what the fuck happened? This is fucked up. We got to fucking get these people. And you can only contain that for so long.
That's very well said, as always. Let's just have one more piece of news. That's a piece of good news. The state of Illinois, Election Day is now a state holiday.
Woo!
It has absolutely no impact on the election. They will be voting for Biden. That is a metaphysical certainty. However, if you are perhaps voting for a third party, or you know what, fuck it. Even if you're voting for Biden or you're voting for Trump, it doesn't fucking matter. You're a fucking human being. You have a right to fucking make your shitty opinion heard and known. So everybody in the state of Illinois will now have the day off of work and not have to like squeeze in their job and their voting. And even though it really is not really relevant to the fucking electoral college and who's going to win the election, like it would be maybe we'd be more excited if it was like a swing state or whatever. It doesn't matter the principle of the thing. It's good. Hooray for Illinois. I'm glad that people get a little free time and convenience in their job as they live their life.
Absolutely. And like we always say about some of this kind of stuff, it all adds up, like there's no one single solution that we can implement, whether it's fixing gerrymandering, implementing ranked choice voting, getting rid of the two-party system, making voting a holiday, whatever. None of these things by themselves will fix everything, but all of them together could give us like a really highly functional, usable democracy that we could all participate in. And so it's a step.
There are also state elections because, the state of Illinois has corrupt mayors and governors and state councilmen and assemblymen and mayors and all that other shit across the state. And every little bit fucking counts. So, yeah, this is unambiguously a good thing. So that's great. Good things are happening this week.
There are some good things happening.
Not enough of them and not fast enough, but they are happening.
It's better than most weeks where only bad things are happening.
Yeah. So we've got, we would love to hang out with y'all for a couple hours and just do more and more, but like we're working on a special surprise for y'all. And so we got to like get out on time. But listen, we're at NSF Wonks on Twitter. You can look at a picture of Eric Trump as Fredo. We are making the content. We're making the content all the time. We're making the content at patreon.com/notsafe. Don't share that with them now. They've got to go on Twitter.
They got to go on Twitter now.
Get it together. You want to boo me? Twitch and fucking Icon. I am just, we might not even have to get banned from Twitch. I might just be like, I just will forget to hit the Twitch button one day. You Twitch and Icon too. You're all canceled. You've all got to go.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We are Not Safe for Wonks. And we will see you with another stream tomorrow. at 4 Eastern, as pretty much always. Bye-bye.
We will be on we won't be on Twitch though. We'll be on YouTube.
We'll be on everything but Twitch.
Twitch, you're done. You're canceled.
We'll be